do with the time that you had here? Did you sit around ruminating? Fear that held me into captivity is not captivating me anymore. And I knew that it wouldn't. When I finally start to take little steps and get out of the bed and move on, I said, man, it's looking brighter already. Good morning, you guys, and welcome to another video. Now, I have my notes down here, so if ever I drift my eyes to this side, that is exactly what I'm looking at. I have notes, however, I will not miss out on the opportunity to flow this conversation wherever this conversation may go, okay? So without further ado, let's get straight into this video. One is you have to properly learn yourself and what it is that you need to facilitate a relationship. So you can't be in a relationship with anyone, a good relationship, whether it's with your children, whether it's with your parents, whether it's with your spouse, whether it's with your girlfriend or boyfriend. You can't have relationships if you don't know what it is that you need from the relationship and you bring to the relationship. That's all. I mean, that's jobs, that covers them all. You have to take some time and figure out what is it that I want, that I need, what do I add, and what needs to be added to me in order to be able to thrive in this environment. What happens if you don't do that? Well, you're going to make people miserable. You're going to have miserable coworkers. You're going to have a miserable spouse. The people around you are going to be miserable, and so will you, because you'll forever be trying to live up to an expectation, fit into a box that you were never meant to fit into, and everybody involved is going to be miserable. So the best thing that you can do, figure out what you need, what it is that you bring to any relationship. Two is listen to your spirit. Now people say a gut feeling. Who is that? Someone has a song, I just have a gut feeling. Somebody sing that song. If y'all know who it is, put it down in the comments. If you have a gut feeling, if your spirit is saying, I have been in situations where the majority say yes, 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 girl, do it, and my spirit said, and my that little in my spirit was the best decision that I have ever made. You never listen to the majority. Always listen to your spirit. Learn how to decipher. And you see, the trick with anxiety and the trick with being fearful and in this state of fear all the time is sometimes you're unable to discern what is your spirit saying something and what's just like mental foolishness. Okay, and we'll get to some of that later on in the video, but learn to listen to your spirit and don't waver from it at all. Some people aren't going to like this, but here it is. Cut off people who have shown you that you can't trust them. Now, I am by no means saying to just be rude, to be disrespectful, to just ghost people. I am not saying that, but you have to learn how to place people in their place and stop taking them out of their place, trying to make them into something else when they've already shown you exactly the place that they want to be. And sometimes not the place that they want to be. Sometimes the only place that they can fit. Sometimes people haven't done enough work in their life to be able to be an asset to yours, and they're draining. You have to learn how to cut people off. And I mean, whoever it is, if it's a job, if it's a family member, if it's a spouse, like I said, you need to sift, like I always say, you need to sift these things through some sort of, however you do it, girl, whatever you do to sift your things through, whatever knowledge base you do that, you need to go through that process and make sure that it is legitimate, okay? Make sure you're not just walking away from marriages. You're not just walking away from family members. Give people chances. You know, forgiveness is probably the biggest tool that we as humans have, because everyone has done something that would have you to sit in the seat to need to be forgiven, okay? But cutting off people, man, I'm telling you. Now, I used to be a type of person who would walk away from a situation. Anytime I feel some type of way, I'm just walking away. Now I'm to the point where I'll give anybody a chance. But you might only get one chance these days. I'm not going to keep giving you time and time again to hurt me, to show me that what my spirit is saying about you is true. We're not going to keep going around in a circle. And like I said, it doesn't really mean isolate yourself. That doesn't mean to be rude to people. That doesn't mean don't be friendly to people. But you just have to learn how to place people in their spots, okay? And cutting people off, I know, especially in, I won't say it, especially with the church folks. Especially with the church folks, they love to, oh my God, that's your mama. Oh my God, that's your grandma. You know that's your sister. Guess what? If your mama, your grandma, your sister are toxic, you can cut them all off, okay? Put them all in a box and their place is the place that you respect them as who they are, but you don't have to be mistreated. Take that. You need to assess. The best thing that you could do, you assess every single relationship in your life. See if the relationship is adding to you. See if you're adding to the relationship. See if the relationship has some reciprocity in it. See if, is this thing going in a circle, or is everybody just making withdrawals and nobody's giving anything back to me? And the relationships that consistently, now I'm not talking about someone got sick, your spouse got sick and they can't normally do for you what it is they usually do for you, and you just walking away. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you assess it through the ages, through the times. What has happened? Like, have they always been taking away from you and never giving anything back to you? You need to assess that. And I would suggest walking away from situations where it's just taking. I have a video, I'll link for you guys a playlist up here of a few videos that will help you out in that process. I'll walk away from anything. If I know that what I'm feeling, like I said, checking my spirit, something isn't right here, I've already addressed you and assessed the situation accordingly, and you have no desire to do anything different, we're about to walk away, because we can't both be stuck. Why would we both be stuck? We don't need to both be stuck. Someone's going to say, this is the most important part of the video, because this deals with anxiety on the level that it really is, that it is anxiety's battlefield. And that's up here, okay? So I'm going to try to articulate this as best as possible. I do what's called a memory hotel, okay? Now, a hotel, I hope someone doesn't live in a hotel, but whatever. A hotel is not a place where you live. It's kind of a place you either going on vacation or you're just staying in it temporarily, right? It's not a permanent place. I call it my memory hotel. I take these memories and I put them up in the hotels. Some are on higher floors than others, depending on how painful the memory. Some things are on lower floors, meaning I visit them more often. And sometimes you have to visit them. Sometimes things hurt and you still have to take a visit to that memory. What do you do when you take the visit? Well, what I do is I need to subtract, because things don't just happen to you. Okay? God would never put you in a situation where stuff was just happening to you. I take the lesson from that memory out of that hotel room. I take the lesson out of there and I leave that memory there. So with me and with my story, there I will take the lesson. Okay? What I also do, because the lesson isn't the only thing that's beneficial here. What I also want to take away is forgiveness. Forgiveness is a whole entity in itself, but I add humanity to the person. If it was a person that did something to me, I add humanity to the situation. What would I want to be done to me if I were them? That's how I address it. Okay? Because at the end of the day, I haven't always been right. You haven't always been right. You either are the person who needs to forgive or the person who needs to be forgiven at every single point in your life. And you want that situation even to have some reciprocity in it. You don't want people to always be, you don't want to always be the one to need to forgive people. You want people to forgive you as well. So what I take away from that situation, on top of the lesson that I need to learn, because you can't help what someone else learns or doesn't learn. You can help the work that they need to do, but you can help yourself. So what do I need to learn, and how can I forgive this person? Okay. What is it? How would I want to be treated if I were this person? Those are the two key things that I take away from my memory hotel. All right. So this next one is important as well. It kind of plays along the same thing, because these are all thoughts. These are all memories. Anxiety usually stems from a thought, an imagination, something that happened, something that you're imagining that would happen. So that brings me into, like I said, I have good notes here that I thought, prayed, and talk to God about, and I got a little scenario going here. So I'm going to read from my notes. So the first thing is to take thoughts captive. You need to learn how to take thoughts captive. When something bad comes into your mind, you need to be able to go, whew, do I need to keep this? Is this something that needs to live in my home, or do I need to put this up in the hotel? Okay. And I would not suggest keeping anything in your home, which is, memories that you think about often. I wouldn't suggest them be bad memories. We need them to be good memories, because good memories are going to bring us higher. They're going to elevate our life. We're not keeping memories in our home that don't elevate us, don't bring us to a place that we can constantly forgive, that we can constantly love and be loving. Like, we don't want to keep those memories here. We want to put those memories in our memory hotel. Okay. So I have a scripture, and I know everyone watching this video is not, a Bible person. Maybe you're not a Christian. That doesn't matter. Okay. I'm speaking of the Bible, and at any point of time when I speak of the Bible, I speak of the Bible as a book filled with knowledge. It just so happens to be the book that I glean my wisdom from in my life, but it's a book of knowledge, just like any other book that I have right here, like any other book. Okay. So here's a scripture that I really love, and the Bible addresses anxiety very spot on. Okay. Very spot on. But here is a scripture that I wrote down, and it's 2 Corinthians 10:15. Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself above the knowledge of God, and bringing every thought into captivity, and every thought into the obedience of Christ. Okay. What is an imagination? We want to go to that, because anxiety is you imagining stuff. Okay. What's an imagination? This is the dictionary definition of imagination: the action of forming new ideas or images or concepts of external objects not present to the senses. What's ruminating? We know ruminating from like anxiety terminology, right? Just keep right here replaying stuff, usually bad stuff. What is ruminating? The definition of ruminating is deep thinking. Ruminating and imaginations are the same thing. So what do you do with that? What do I do if I keep going here and I can't get off this hamster wheel of the same old thoughts? You need to place imagination where it belongs. When you think of imagination, when you were a child, when they say use your imagination, what were you doing? Oh, Jesus, you were creating. You need to place imagination back where it belongs. And that is not sitting, stewing, thinking of the worst case scenario. You need to place imagination back where it belongs, and that's in creativity. Start creating something. If you are an anxious person and every single day of your life, you don't have something that you should be creating, whether it's crafts, whether it's books, whether it's a YouTube channel, whether you're creating something on your job, you need to be creative. There is science to back up what creativity does to the mind. But I'm telling you, creating, that's why I started Lorena. That's why I started Lorena. That is one of the reasons that I did become a massage therapist. I wanted to create. I wanted to create a business that allowed me to be my own ballerina. Creativity destroys anxiety at its head, because it places imaginations, these crazy imaginations, right back where it belongs. Okay. So high thing. What's a high thing? Okay. When someone is anxious and anxiety, we know depression comes slowly after. What do you do with these things? Usually they're because we have made high things out of things that don't need to be high. We've made high things out of money. We've made high things out of people. We've made high things out of positions, out of all of these small things, all these things that we ain't gonna take with us when we die. We've made high things out of. So you need to determine what in your life has become something high that's unsustainable. Man, I'm gonna say this because I feel like this is the perfect place to say this. I, for a great deal of my life, was like, you know what? I want to lose weight. 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 And I think after the birth of my second child, I lost a lot of weight, primarily because it was an adoption. And I deemed the weight as me carrying around the issue with me, right? So I lost weight really quickly, had fun for a short period of time, gained the weight back. I've been normal. I've been me, whatever, you know what I mean. I've been like I am now. And I finally, here as I am about to venture into my 30s in a year, I have come to the place where I'm like, it is what it is. I need to make good what I have, okay? I don't need to try to change my hair. I don't need to try to change my skin. I don't need to try to change the way that I walk, the way that I talk. I don't need to change anything about me. What I need to do is make perfect what I have, okay? Maybe I can't get the tummy tuck of my dreams. You see this exercise equipment back here, but I can't do some sit-ups. Make good with what you have. Stop placing these high expectations and using your imagination on the wrong places. Work with what you got. Imagine what you can do with what you have. Imagine what you can do with what you have. In all of my thickness, guess what I could be doing? I could be doing thick girl workouts. Okay? Use your imagination for what you have, and don't do all this. Don't be trying to grab stuff. Oh, she got this and I want to. Don't do that. It's not helpful. It's not useful. It's keeping you on the same cycle, and you're not creating anything. Okay? Except bad thoughts. That you have to do this process to every single thought. It's time consuming. It's a waste of time. And what's a waste of time? A waste of time, I'm learning, is a waste of life. You have a set amount of time here on the earth that you don't know. You don't know the time you have on the earth. I don't know the time that you have on the earth. All you know is there's going to come a time where you're done, where it's finished. What did you do with the time that you had here? Did you sit around ruminating? Did you sit around thinking about what could happen to you? Did you keep sitting around thinking about the what ifs? Did you keep on sitting around saying, man, I wish I could do this, and man, I wish I could do this? You can get up and do it. And if you do it and you fall down, my goodness, you have a story to tell of how you failed. And I'm telling you right now, my whole channel is telling you guys a story of how I failed. But I did it. Nothing, no trauma, no drama has ever stopped me from the enthusiasm of falling, because I'm not perfect. Nobody ever told me that I was going to be perfect. But there's some things that I want to do. There's some things that God's placed on my heart to do. There's some things that God has placed on your heart to do. There's some people that you are required to touch. There's some things that the very reason that you were born, your life is meant to transform some lives. You have got to come into agreement with who you are, what it is that you have currently, not what you gonna get. What do you have in your hand right now? What can you do with what you have in your hand right now? Oh, I don't have the nice bedroom. I don't have the, the nice living room. I don't have this house, and I don't have a car. You got the bus. If you got the bus, make videos of you getting on the bus. Like you can use, I take no excuses. And I don't want you to continue to give yourself excuses, because it's right here. It's in this process. Excuses. Okay. I did show you guys in the last book, this book right here, this anxiety workbook. I'll link it again for you guys below. This book really changed my life. And I always say it about a lot of things, because a lot of things changed my life. I'm looking for my life to be changed every single day. If I wake up in the morning, knowing where I've come from, knowing that I've come from a place where getting up out of the bed was a struggle, the fact that I can get out of the bed, man, I'm excited. Yeah, I'm like, why is she posting so many videos? I'm excited. I'm excited that I'm out of the bed. I'm excited that the fear that held me into captivity is not captivating me anymore. And I knew that it wouldn't. When I finally start to take little steps and get out of the bed and move on, I said, man, it's looking brighter already. My God, it's looking brighter already. I want you to say that. I want you to say that to yourself. There's something brighter in my future, but you got to walk towards it. How do you walk towards it? You get up. You got to get up. You got to get up. You got to do your work. You got to do the work in your mind. You got to be able to take these thoughts captive. You got to be able to. You have to be able to take these thoughts captive, because some crazy things gonna come up. Okay? Now, how do you bring a thought into obedience to Christ? Well, the first thing is you need to know who he is. And I'm not talking about this foolishness. I'm not talking about this church foolishness that we have made it out to be. I'm talking about you need to know who he is. You need to know what he did for you. Okay? You need to know what Jesus wasn't beating nobody upside the head about having sex. Jesus wasn't beating nobody upside the head about divorcing. Jesus wasn't beating nobody upside the head about doing all. He gave lessons. That he came, like I said before, he came to set the captive free. Why did he give these lessons? Because people were bound in situations. This is not about taking Bibles and Bible scriptures and beating people upside the head. That's not what this is about. That is not what Jesus died to do. He died to give us freedom. Okay? So you need to understand, and through your own reading, don't let other people push their beliefs on you. Find out what it is that Jesus said. Find out what it is that he died to do. Find out what it is that he says about you specifically. Not what he said about your mama. Not what he said about your daddy. Okay? What it is that he has to say about you. And what do? How do you replace the memories? Because that's going to be the last thing that we talk about, okay? Because when you are casting these thoughts down, you better believe that new thoughts are going to try to emerge, right? New imaginations are going to try to emerge. What do you do with that? You need to replace them. How can you replace them? If you start creating, you're going to start creating new memories. You're going to start creating new memories. You're going to start creating new situations, new circumstances. Focus on that and do the same thing. When bad things arise in those situations, I'm going to take the bad things right up there in my hotel. I'm going to take the good stuff, the stuff that'll elevate me, the stuff that'll have me looking forward to waking up and getting out my bed every single day. I'm going to take those things and I'm going to keep them here in my home. Okay? I'm going to keep them here in my home. And I put an example here. And let's say you say, you know what? This is a core memory. Like, this hurts me. My father left me. My mother died, and I had to, be placed in foster care. How do you replace a memory like that? You put that memory in the hotel and you take a lesson from it. And if the lesson that you have to learn is, you know what? I have children of my own. I can be better for my children than anyone ever was to me. I don't have children of my own, right? I can open a foster home. And yeah, they molested and raped me in this foster home. But my God, I can create a foster home that all that doesn't happen in. I can create a foster home that was better than the one that I was in. You've got to be able to take the stuff that happens in life, the curveballs that come in life, and make them into opportunities. Create opportunities. And let me tell you something, when you're creating opportunities, you better believe that you're creating the opportunities not for yourself. Don't be selfish now. You're not creating opportunities for yourself. You're creating an opportunity to teach someone else the ways in which you have done it. Okay, you're creating an opportunity to give someone else an opportunity, to give the least of these an opportunity that you didn't have. Yeah, your foster home was crap, but are we going to literally spend the rest of our life? Are you going to be talking about this from 18 to 50, about how the foster home you was in was trash and how they treated you like this and that, and you never reached out to touch another person who's in the exact same situation that you're in? You make the enemy mad. Make the enemy of your destiny and the enemy of your life mad. Make anxiety flee, okay? Make the enemy furious that you literally have taken everything that's happened to you and you've produced and you've created. Whew, Jesus. Because that's why it happened. It happened to you because you have the ability to produce and to create from that place. Let anxiety be a marker for you of the place that you need to create in. Okay? I love you guys. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Totally different kind of video. I really didn't know where it was going. I didn't even read all my notes, but I feel like I nailed it right where I wanted to. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.